They say that when the sun goes down, the truth wears a different coat. In the heart of Buea, the air was no longer sweet with the scent of mountain flowers. It was bitter with the smell of a brewing war. Ekenna had fled the compound in a cloud of dust, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a red bundle that sat on the table like a ticking bomb. Mami Hannah had gathered the elders, her voice rising like a storm. "A man who runs from the light has something to hide in the dark," she shouted, slamming her hand on the wooden table. Bang! The sound echoed through the house, marking the end of peace. But while Mami Hannah was busy calling for a spiritual cleansing, Auntie Rose was busy doing groundwork. She was moving from house to house, her wrapper tight, whispering to anyone who would listen. "Did you see his eyes? They were red like palm oil. That is the mark of a man who has sold his peace for naira." Rose was like a weaver bird, building a nest of lies that Eposi was trapped in. She was the one who suggested the village youth should keep watch at the entrance of the village, just in case the Nigerian criminal returned with his gang. Under the shadows of the mango tree, the subject of our story, Eposi, was not crying. Her eyes were dry and sharp. She looked at the red bundle. She remembered Ekenna's face, not the face of a killer, but the face of a man being choked by a secret. She picked up a small kitchen knife. Her heart was hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. "If this is my destruction, let it begin now," she whispered. She sliced through the black thread. The red cloth fell away, and her breath hitched. Inside was not a human heart or a charm. It was a collection of dried, bitter-smelling roots and a small handwritten note in Igbo. Eposi's mind traveled back to a rainy afternoon in Lagos months ago. She and Ekenna were sitting in a small mama put joint, eating hot pepper soup. Ekenna had winced in pain, clutching his stomach. "Eposi, my love," he had said, his voice weak. "This ulcer is my shadow. My mother in the village is the only one who knows the secret roots to calm it. Without them, I am a man without a stomach." He had looked at her with such vulnerability that she had promised to always remind him to take his medicine. How could she have forgotten the man's pain because of a neighbor's poison? But the medicine wasn't the only secret. Just as Eposi realized her mistake, a loud crash came from the front gate. A group of young men, led by a strange man in a dark jacket, burst into the compound. This wasn't the village youth. These were men with cold eyes and hard faces. The leader stepped forward, ignoring Mami Hannah's screams. "Where is Ekenna?" he demanded in a thick accent that sounded like the docks of Douala. "He took something that belongs to our boss in the city. If we don't find him, this house will pay the debt in blood." Chai, the architect of the chaos was now caught in her own design. The good Auntie Rose was revealed to be an informant for the very criminals she claimed to hate. Eposi stood her ground, clutching the herbal roots in one hand and the knife in the other. "He is not here," she shouted, her voice shaking but firm, "and he has no money for you." The man laughed, a dry, hollow sound. "Then we will wait, and while we wait, we will start breaking things." The village that had turned against Ekenna out of bias was now being held hostage by real criminals, invited by the very woman they trusted for advice. The irony was as bitter as the roots in Eposi's hand. As the night grew deeper, a single pair of headlights appeared at the far end of the village road. Ekenna was coming back. He wasn't bringing a gang, and he wasn't bringing juju. He was driving back into a trap, unaware that his secret had already been opened and his life was hanging by a thread. Eposi ran to the window, her heart screaming for him to turn back, but it was too late. The men in the dark jackets moved into the shadows, their weapons ready. The Lagos groom was driving straight into the arms of death. Is Ekenna a businessman who made a deal with the devil, or is he a victim of a grand setup? And will Eposi be able to save the man she loves from the fire her mother and Auntie Rose helped to light? The secrets are coming out and the price is higher than any dowry. Stay tuned because the real battle is about to begin. You cannot afford to miss what happens when the first shot is fired. The story is turning into a race against time. Does love have the power to stop a bullet? Don't move an inch because episode 4, The Vanishing Bridegroom, is coming up very soon. Make sure you are subscribed and tell a friend because this marriage secret is about to explode.